Good day, fellow hunters. This is Jared O'Lantern, and I have for you today a kind of a haunt build slash props build video for you. And this will be a prop, noisy ass airplane. This will be a prop that will go in the outdoor section of my haunt, and this is going to be it's the first animated prop I've ever made, first ever homemade animated prop. And it's a animated skeleton Scarecrow prop. Let me pull out a little bit. So, oof, and I almost killed myself. This is pretty much life size. It's a half torso skeleton. From the bottom of the stake to the top of his head, he measures about I'd say about 5.5 feet tall. And as you can see, it's a very subtle animation. His head just kind of slightly turns from side to side, and I'll get into the specifics about how he's animated and stuff. This is actually kind of a remake of sorts of a prop that I'd seen online, and it was a skeleton staked scarecrow, kind of a creature with a hooded sweatshirt, and that's basically what I did here. The one that I had seen was just a static prop. This one, of course, like I said, is animated. And this is just a regular pose and stay skeleton that I got from Michael's a couple years ago. And I had kind of torn the skeleton apart. He didn't have a lower half, which is fine because I really didn't want the lower half anyway. And so what I did was I just disconnected the neck bone from the shoulder bone, as the song goes. So it has the illusion that it's still connected, but in order to make it animated, of course, I had to disconnect it. And then I can just take this part off right here. You can see under there, I disconnected the arm bones from the rib cage, because that's the one direction in which this pose and stay skeleton does not pose. The arms don't go up like that, so I had to disconnect those as well. And then did that on the other side. He is staked on two 2x4s. One is about 5 feet tall, and the other one's about 3 feet wide. And let's go ahead and turn him around to show you the backside. So here is the backside of the character here, and underneath the hood you'll see where most of the animation comes from. This skull I screwed directly into a wooden dowel, and this is actually a setup that I'd seen on many other videos, so thank you to everybody that uploaded those. The skull is connected to a dowel. The dowel has a machine screw or a nut and bolt, and then a nut connected to it. That is then connected to some galvanized wire, which then goes to a PVC pipe, which is then connected to this metal strap. And then finally, the thing that makes all the movement is the reindeer motor. And this is the first motor for a prop that I've ever purchased. I got this from frightprops.com, and I will say that the first one that I bought from them did not work. The website said that you just simply plug it in and it just starts to go. I plugged the first one in and nothing happened. I contacted them and they shipped one out immediately. So I know I overpaid on this motor compared to some other online sites. After shipping, I paid about $26 for it. I know their shipping costs can kind of be steep sometimes, but they really do ship really quickly, and they have really good customer service. So so let me back up so you can see the whole mechanism and process. Once again, the reindeer motor spins, which turns the metal arm, which turns the PVC pipe, which is also on a nut and bolt, by the way. And then that is connected to the screw and the dowel. And then the dowel just sits in this hollow PVC pipe right there. and the reindeer motor and that PVC are secured by good old duct tape. I might have to reinforce it another way, but for now that works. And so that's that. And as you can see, I connected the two 2x4 pieces with the same metal strap that I connected the PVC over here with. So these are really come in handy. They are now in my like top 10 most necessary prop building tools. So this is actually right here. The shot is the main reason why I wanted to make this prop, was the way it looked with the hooded sweatshirt. So I know it wasn't like a typical costume for a Scarecrow, but that's why I liked it, because it was interesting. The only problem is the animation definitely slows down a little bit when the hood is on top of the skull. I'm sure there's something I can do to fix that, but for the video's purposes here, I'm going to have the hood off just because the animation looks a lot better without it. And this hoodie actually was in like new condition when I got it, but I went ahead because I wanted to have the exposed bone and the exposed wooden stake. I didn't want to hide it, of course, so I went ahead and I just cut it up and just made it look a little more tattered. Did the same thing on the bottom, and then of course in the back, to make sure that the motor was free to move, I cut that all off as well. So I think it came out pretty good. I did some very basic dry paint job on the skull itself. I know I'm gonna get a lot of people saying that I should have just corpsed the skull and the rib cage, but I don't want to get that detailed. I just want to do a very basic prop, and I'll probably go over with a better coat. I ran out of paint in the process of painting it, so even with a dry brush technique, you still need a little bit of paint, and I had zero. So I would say that this whole prop probably cost me about 30 bucks to make, which I think is pretty good for a life-size animated prop. Like I said, a pretty subtle animation, but animated nonetheless. I already had the wood, I already had the sweatshirt, I already had the skeleton. You know, so the stuff that I had to buy obviously was the motor, the metal straps on the back. So yeah, it was really cheap for me, but even if you were to make something similar and had to buy most of the other materials, I'm sure you could do it for cheap as well. So there it is, you guys, my first ever homemade animated prop, and this will go in the outdoor haunted courtyard section of my haunt this year, Dowdy Street Nightmare. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you're seeing, please like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, keep it creepy.